if you're a college player and you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning.
Geno Auriemma once believed he had Caitlin Clark all figured out. To him, she was a flashy player, someone who wasn't yet ready to disrupt the basketball world. He even went as far as to criticize her fan base, calling them delusional and claiming they were setting her up for failure. His view of Clark was rooted in a belief that she lacked the physicality necessary for the WNBA and wouldn't be able to handle the league's intense defenders. Yet, as often happens in sports, reality has a way of proving critics wrong. This time, that reality hit Auriemma hard and in the most public way possible. Clark, whom Auriemma had once—
This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie.
Dismissed as not built for the pros, has shattered expectations and transformed skeptics into supporters. Auriemma himself was forced to reassess his stance and, in an unexpected turn of events, became one of Clark's most unlikely admirers. It started as a harsh critique of Clark's abilities turned into an undeniable recognition of her greatness, and her freshman season was the catalyst for that transformation. It wasn't just a good start to her career, it was a groundbreaking one. Her performances on the court weren't just electrifying, they were historic. Clark didn't just silence her critics, she obliterated their doubts with her game, setting records that will stand for years to come. Auriemma's change of heart serves as one of the most dramatic sports storylines in recent memory. How did one of basketball's most—
Geno, baby, if Caitlin Clark is on the team, it becomes the right team. Because Caitlin Clark is on it. It's like saying Michael Jordan's not on the right team. It's the right team if Michael Jordan is on the roster.
Most respected and opinionated coaches go from doubting Clark to acknowledging her undeniable talent. The backstory is as compelling as the turnaround itself, and what followed was nothing short of headline-worthy. It all began with a statement that shook the basketball world to its core. On the Dan Patrick Show, Auriemma, known for his unwavering opinions, expressed his skepticism about Clark's future in the WNBA, boldly criticized her fan base, calling them delusional for believing she could succeed at the highest level.
What does bother me is some of the people I deeply respect, their basketball credentials, their basketball history, their commitment to basketball and women's basketball, I think have really not covered themselves in glory with some of this commentary.
At the time, Clark was still in her college years at Iowa, where she was already a transcendent player. She wasn't just a star, she was a phenomenon. Her long-range shooting was nothing short of jaw-dropping, and her leadership had elevated the Hawkeyes into national contenders. By the time Clark was selected as the top pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, she had already cemented herself as a household name in basketball. However, Auriemma remained unconvinced. In his eyes, success in college didn't necessarily equate to success in the pros unless you were from UConn. Of course, the basketball world quickly became divided over Clark.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening.
Her supporters praised her relentless work ethic, basketball IQ, and ability to rise to the occasion when it mattered most. On the other hand, critics, including WNBA legend Diana Taurasi, sided with Auriemma, questioning whether her college brilliance could translate to the professional game's fast pace and physicality. The divide created immense pressure on Clark to prove herself in the WNBA, but if there's one thing that Clark has always excelled at, it's rising to the occasion, and rise she did. Her debut season in the WNBA.
Like I said earlier, they actually had odds that, she was like third or fourth in the betting odds to be MVP of the WNBA. That's such a slap in the face to every WNBA player. It's unbelievable, right?
Was nothing short of legendary. Clark didn't just meet expectations, she exceeded them in ways few thought possible. Playing for the Indiana Fever, she posted extraordinary numbers: 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and over 5 rebounds per game. Her offensive brilliance turned heads, but it was her leadership and ability to elevate her teammates that left critics stunned. Along the way, Clark shattered an unprecedented 62 records, proving that her college success was no fluke. Caitlin Clark's rookie season in the WNBA was one for the ages. She didn't just silence her harshest critics, she left them with no room for doubt. Season was filled with defining moments, from buzzer beaters that ignited wild celebrations to triple doubles that became
You never know how quickly they're going to adapt to the WNBA game coming from college. And I think that Caitlin has done surprisingly well, how quickly she's adapted to this game. There's a lot of doubters out there, as we all know, and she has proved them all wrong.
Viral sensations. Her clutch performances in high-stakes games revealed a composure and poise under pressure that only heightened her star power. Clark wasn't merely proving that she could compete at the professional level, she was showing that she was destined to be one of the league's brightest stars. Her combination of resilience, leadership, and unmatched talent turned her rookie season into a historic one for Geno Auriemma. The freshman slump he had predicted for Clark never came to pass. Instead, he found himself watching in awe as the player he once doubted shattered every expectation. The question had shifted. It was no longer whether Clark could handle the WNBA's physicality. It was about how far her star would rise. And that's when the story took an unexpected and fascinating turn. Before we dive into what Geno Auriemma actually said, it's essential to understand why his change of heart was so striking. Was it Caitlin Clark's undeniable brilliance during her debut season that changed his mind? Or was there...
That's the worst part about new fans. They have no perspective. There's no context. So they just say ridiculous nonsense.
While watching Clark dominate the WNBA might have influenced his perspective, not everyone is convinced that his newfound admiration is entirely genuine. Here's where it gets interesting. Geno Auriemma has a significant financial stake in Unrivaled, an up-and-coming 3-on-3 basketball league that has been aggressively pursuing Clark. The league sees her as a game-changer, someone who could see...
Unrivaled League is picking up players and they're getting ready to make a big splash in January with this league.
Single-handedly elevate its profile and attract a new fan base. Auriemma's glowing remarks about Clark came at a perfect time, sparking speculation about his true intentions. Was this a heartfelt acknowledgement of her greatness, or a strategic move to win her over? While Clark has already turned down the league's offers, her continued support for the games or her public endorsement of the league could give it a massive boost in visibility. The timing of Auriemma's praise has left many wondering, could his flattery have an ulterior motive? Fans and analysts have been debating whether his public praise was a genuine recognition of Clark's talent or...
She has decided not to do Unrivaled, even though Aaliyah Boston's doing it, Lexi Hull is doing it, Kate Martin is doing it, and despite all the rumors, and I'm sure the push that was put on her. But Clark has all the leverage in this situation, and I'm not saying she flexed it, but she was comfortable enough in her position to make the decision, and it appears that answer is no.
Part of a long-term strategy to bring her into the fold, maybe even next year. The turning point came during a game where Caitlin Clark was in attendance to support her former Iowa Hawkeyes. Fox College Hoops prepared a tribute video in honor of Clark, highlighting her incredible college career. The montage featured her most iconic moments, paired with heartfelt messages from former teammates, coaches, and even rivals. The tribute was an emotional celebration of her impact on the game, and it delivered in every way. Among those offering praise were basketball stars like Paige Buchers and UConn's Aubrey Griffin, as well as her former coaches, Lisa Blutter and Jan Jensen. UConn's...
Unless you have been living under a rock, you have heard about Caitlin Clark.
She's just a generational player and makes everybody around her better.
Caitlin Clark will go down as one of the best to ever play the game.
Women's basketball is under the spotlight right now because of Caitlin, and I think that will have an impact forever.
Geno Auriemma, once one of Clark's most vocal skeptics, also joined in with praise. What was especially striking wasn't just the admiration from her supporters, but the shift in tone from her previous critics. Auriemma, who had previously dismissed Clark as just another overhyped player, now found himself offering something unexpected: genuine respect. The man who had once doubted her ability to thrive at the professional level was now forced to acknowledge her
Great player, good person as well. She's been great, and I'm really excited for her at this next stage in her career.
Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball. Another forever moment for this transformational superstar.
Incredible achievements. His skepticism had melted away, replaced by reluctant admiration for the player who had proven him and so many others wrong. The tribute video wasn't just a nostalgic look back at Clark's collegiate career, it was a powerful testament to the far-reaching impact she had made in the world of basketball. Even her harshest critics couldn't ignore the undeniable mark she had left on the sport. In that moment, the ripple effect of Caitlin Clark's influence on basketball became crystal clear. Caitlin Clark's legacy became a symbol of something much deeper than just her impressive statistics and record-breaking achievements. It was a testament to her ability to inspire and elevate.
Caitlin brought so much new attention to the rise in women's college basketball and the WNBA and women's sports in general. I feel like the weight of the world is on her shoulders, and she just has this heavy burden to carry, and she does it with grace and humility.
The game, not just for herself but for everyone who witnessed her rise. As the tribute video played, fans erupted into applause, and social media quickly flooded with reactions. Tweets like "she's changed the game, and it's time everyone admits it, and even Geno can't deny her greatness anymore" poured in. The sentiment was undeniable. Caitlin Clark had transcended the game, and her influence reached far beyond the court. It wasn't just her supporters from Iowa who spoke up. Coaches like Kara Lawson, who had faced Clark's teams as rivals, also weighed in, offering praise that carried significant weight. "You can't deny her impact, it goes beyond stats," Lawson said, emphasizing Clark's far-reaching effect on the sport. The tribute seamlessly transitioned to her WNBA highlights, and with every new clip, the crowd erupted into cheers. Each appearance of her face on screen felt like a unifying moment for the entire basketball community.
Clark for the win! My only comparable to her is Steph Curry.
Well, she did break my assist record at Iowa, so that's, something I have to live with my entire life. But I think what Caitlin Clark did is put eyes on our game. People that would never watch women's basketball are watching women's basketball now because of Caitlin Clark.
Collective recognition of her profound influence on the game, but the tribute wasn't merely a celebration, it was a reckoning. It marked how far Clark had come, from a player once doubted by legends to one who forced them to rethink everything they knew about the game. It wasn't just about the numbers she put up, but about her resilience, her ability to break barriers, and her capacity to bring people together. At the heart of it all was
the college career that Caitlin had ignited a tremendous amount of attention.
Caitlin Clark, as humble and focused as ever, continuing to inspire everyone around her. One of the most surprising moments came from Geno Auriemma, the iconic UConn coach who had once confidently dismissed Caitlin Clark's potential in the WNBA. For months, Auriemma had been the loudest voice of doubt, publicly questioning Clark's readiness for the professional league and her ability to succeed against tougher competition. But during a segment aired alongside Clark's tribute video, Auriemma's comments took a startling turn.
An incredible phenomenon that very rarely happens, and it certainly changed the landscape, no question.
Gone were the sharp-tongued criticisms about Clark not being built for the WNBA's physicality or the digs at her delusional fan base. Auriemma openly acknowledged her undeniable impact on the game. "She certainly changed the landscape, no question," he said during the segment, leaving viewers stunned. "She's a phenomenon." As Clark's brilliance continued to unfold, the weight of Auriemma's earlier skepticism.
I was mesmerized by her.
Caitlin had the tongue out. She is feeling it tonight, folks.
She broke stereotypes. She played with a flair. She played with the confidence, the swagger that I think few have played with.
Became increasingly apparent. His once firm stance now appeared out of touch with the reality of Clark's success. But this wasn't just about admitting that Clark could play, it was about recognizing that she was redefining what it meant to be a star in the WNBA. Known for his unwavering opinions, Auriemma's shift revealed something rare, a concession to undeniable greatness. However, not everyone embraced Auriemma's turnaround without skepticism.
I think that all of us, fan base included, were just so thankful that we were part of that ride.
Some fans dismissed his praise as mere damage control, a way for him to save face in light of Clark's meteoric rise. Analysts were quick to point out that this was Auriemma's version of admitting he was wrong without actually saying the words. Even respected basketball insiders noted that his change of heart highlighted the sheer force of Clark's talent, a force so powerful that it made even the most entrenched opinions seem obsolete. Geno Auriemma's shift in perspective on Caitlin Clark's abilities was more than just a personal concession, it symbolized a larger cultural transformation within the sport of women's basketball. As the game evolved, so did its audience's willingness to embrace fresh talent. Clark wasn't merely participating in the game, she was reshaping it, compelling even her staunchest critics to reconsider their assumptions. Her season was more than a personal triumph, it marked a pivotal moment for women's basketball as a whole when Auriemma's change of heart became public.
I've done so much to grow the game and inspire young girls to play.
We're uplifting women basketball, and everybody's watching.
I think Caitlin will be in the record books forever. She's an amazing basketball player, but an even better person.
The response was immediate and intense. Clark's supporters flooded social media, celebrating her accomplishments with fervor. Tweets like "Even Geno can't deny her greatness anymore, and this is the ultimate vindication for Caitlin" captured the collective sentiment. Memes poking fun at Auriemma's newfound praise quickly went viral, transforming what could have been a quiet acknowledgement into a viral sensation. Yet, beneath the playful banter, this moment had profound significance. It represented the dawn of a new era for women's basketball, one where players like Clark could transcend expectations and earn the respect they deserved. The outpouring of support for Clark wasn't just about proving Auriemma wrong, it was about rewriting the narrative of women's sports entirely. Fans who had once doubted her now found themselves in her corner, while analysts who had hesitated to embrace her.
Who would have thought that all those years ago, back in Des Moines, Iowa, that this would be the case right now? We knew what we had in Caitlin back in Iowa City, and we knew the attention that she was bringing around the Big Ten and collegiate basketball. But I didn't know how that was going to transcend into the WNBA. And obviously we can see that it's done pretty darn well, and people are excited to see her play at every level.
Her talent now spoke of her with the reverence typically reserved for legends of the game. Clark wasn't just breaking records, she was dismantling outdated perceptions of what women's basketball could be, showing the world that it was time to embrace the talent, skill, and resilience that female athletes like her bring to the court. Her journey was more than just about her success, it was about the way she redefined what it meant to be a trailblazer. Clark's influence was already being felt by the next generation of athletes, who were now seeing a new vision for what was possible in women's sports. The world had no choice but to pay attention. This wasn't simply a matter of Clark meeting expectations, she was obliterating them, setting new standards for what a first-year player could achieve. Her journey was a masterclass in resilience, ambition, and the power of rewriting the narrative.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the FIBA rookie!
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
Auriemma's transition from sharp critique to admiration underscored the seismic impact of Clark's achievements. For a coach of his stature, known for his unwavering opinions, to publicly acknowledge her greatness was a landmark moment in the sport. It marked a turning point in women's basketball, highlighting that the game was changing, driven by players like Clark who challenged preconceptions and raised the bar for future generations. Looking ahead to the 2025 season, the stakes for Clark have never been higher. Analysts predict she will continue to refine her already elite skills and lead the Indiana Fever toward contention. Fans eagerly anticipate her next move, knowing that her electrifying performances will only bring more attention to the league. Yet, Clark's impact stretches far beyond her statistics and victories. She's become a beacon for young athletes, inspiring them to dream bigger and push further. The ripple effect of her success is evident in the growing enthusiasm for women's basketball, the expanding audience it commands, and
I just come out here and try to play basketball in a way that people love watching, in a way that is going to make my team successful, and the records and whatever, or the stats, that's just what comes with it.
And the young athletes now imagining themselves on the same stage as Clark. Caitlin Clark's season wasn't just a personal victory, it was a movement. It was a moment that irrevocably changed the way the game is viewed. As the WNBA continues to grow, the echoes of Clark's breakout year will continue to resonate throughout the league's future. She's already proven she belongs among the elite.